Rick.
Hey,
Hey, man. You hanging out? You writing some songs or what?
I'm noodling.
You know what? Keeping a little bit busy, fidgeting a little bit. I got to tell you, I mean, the book is it's like the longest song that you ever wrote in your life, right?
It is, yes, exactly.
It does. I think you might have broke a world record for the longest song that was written with this thing. That's kind of what it is, right? It's like a song that you wrote, this like long thing, because that's what your music is, right?
Yeah, well, it's about my life. I've had a really interesting life apart from the whole, the rock and roll things mentioned in there. Certainly dealt with very heavily, but at age 60, it was an appropriate time to write my autobiography.
And I wonder how people are taking it, because I take it and I go, okay, well, Rick Springfield, he's got this body of work and all this music that's out, and he's done TV shows, and we know him as Rick Springfield, but here we go with the books out late at night, and now we're seeing this deeper side. And are you worried how people are going to perceive you, or do you go, you know what, we've been through a lot together, and I think people will understand me?
So far, the people who have read it have come back pretty overwhelmingly positive. In fact, there have been people who, in magazine editors and things, who said, didn't really get Rick Springfield, but once I read the book, now I'm a fan. So obviously, there's things in there that people understand. I mean, even though I'm a musician, it's a human being, it's the life of a human being, and it deals with, the book opens up with me at 17 years old, hanging myself in my family's backyard.
The book is out late at night. Rick Springfield with us. Rick, talk about that experience, how you opened up the book trying to commit suicide.
Well, first puberty hit, and then I was a very dark kid once puberty hit, and I was I felt unpopular and ugly and failing at school and failing at girls. There was just nothing. I saw nothing. I saw no light at the end of the tunnel. And so I went out one morning. It was just too much, and I went out to the shed and made this noose and put it around my neck, and then tied it off over the center beam of the shed, and stood on a box and kicked the box away and hung there for about 15 to 20 seconds. And I was just starting to lose consciousness when the rope that I tied to the beam came undone. I mean, the noose, I was very good at making nooses because I was all into the execution thing anyway.
Yeah, and that was gonna be it for Rick Springfield, and we wouldn't have known all the stuff that we know to this date. And the book, is out late at night, and you're so open about it. And even writing this thing, was it like therapeutic to go through some of these things that you've done in your life and dealing with that and putting it down on paper and writing it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really enjoyable because certainly the childhood stuff, because I had a golden childhood as far as I believe, and then it all changed. But I treat it all with a sense of humor, and although there's a lot of dark stuff in there, and going to Vietnam and getting involved in all that, and the whole sexual issue and everything. And
well, wait a second. You mentioned the Vietnam thing. Now, did you get you were 17 and you went to Vietnam? Did you get into a firefight or something? You were actually helping in the battle?
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a Bob Hope USO tour thing like we'd seen on.
Yeah, right. Of course.
But it was really just an American promoter in Saigon hiring Australian bands because we were the closest Occidental country to Vietnam.
Okay, right.
So we went over there, and it was, we were driven around in deuce and a halves and flown in Hueys, and we basically most of the time bunked with the grunts and the soldiers there, and we play a show, and then we get rocketed and mortared and shot at, and almost killed the band with a hand grenade, and it was absolutely insane.
Now that's rock and roll. Rick Springfield with the grenade and his band and almost blows them up, and you're in Vietnam, and geez, I would imagine some of the guys that you're over there with probably weren't a lot older than you were at the time, you being 17.
Exactly right.
Crazy.
It was a very small encampment and could have been overrun very easily with a decent company of VC. But of course, that night we were attacked, and I chose a Radio Shack, which was on top of the only hill in the area.
Which is what they're probably going to want to shoot at, is to knock out communications. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a helicopter was shot. We saw a helicopter get shot down in the distance.
Yeah.
That burned all night, and then they heard noise, and they checked to make sure there were no friendlies around, and we threw mortars down. I threw the mortars down the mortar tube, and in the morning they told me I'd hit somebody.
No kidding. So here you are, and not even really an enlisted soldier, and Rick Springfield probably killed somebody, right?
Yeah, yes.
Rick, if I can just fast forward, because we're talking about, Vietnam in the late 60s, and then let me fast forward to, the fortune and fame, when all that starts to go down. You talk a lot about depression in the book, late at night. Is it one of these things where, are you having a good time in your life when, Jesse's Girl is a hit and the fame and the fortune and the concerts and everything? Are you enjoying it, or are you putting up that facade of, hey man, yeah, I'm having a great time, but you're miserable?
No, I actually truly believe that, which was part of my drive to succeed, that, fame and fortune and success and money would heal me and heal the depression. And, for the first year and a half, I was correct. I thought I was right. Once it happened, I was caught up in the whole rocket ride of it, and it was amazing. And but I remember there was a moment in the book where I'm walking around this big house, and I have this success and platinum records and stuff, and I realize I'm truly no happier.
Yeah, how is that possible? I mean, and what pops into my head is, they say money can't buy happiness, and I think this is like a true case of that, because you hear it a lot. You're so driven, and you want success so bad, and then you get that success, and you realize, right, that wow, this isn't at all what I expected. Is that kind of what you were going through?
Exactly, and money, certainly money can distract you for a while, and I was, I still kind of think, wow. I remember the days when I was struggling to make the light bill, pay the light bill, and I'm happy for that. But that's kind of the extent of that. And it's really the truth of anybody. They think, oh, if I just get this promotion, or I just get this house, or I just marry this girl, or I just make $1 million, I know everything. I'm going to be cool. And and for the first year it is, and then but all your garbage. Comes
back up, right? And you have to deal with it. We're talking to Rick Springfield. The book is out late at night. Is there a book on tape type of deal? Did you voice that thing? I just was curious about it because I haven't seen that as of yet. Is there something out where you narrated the book, or did you get like a William Shatner to do it for you or something?
Yeah, I got Bugs Bunny to do it because it made it much funnier. No, I did it myself because
cool.
I'm an actor, and they suggested that I do it, but it was. And they said, my publisher said, get ready, because it's not going to be, it's going to hit things in you when you reread.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I had to stop like 10 or 12 different times through the book and get myself together to carry on. But I think it came out really well, and they're real pleased with the reading, and I thought fans would appreciate it.
You mentioned your wife, and I need to ask you about that, because this book, you talk about infidelities, sleeping with other women, and some of the craziness on these cruise ships and everything like that. Your wife reading it, are you worried? Because you don't seem like you're too worried about how people are going to perceive you. But are you worried about your wife and all of this? Because, she's been through so much and she's stuck by your side, so to speak. Does that concern you at all?
Absolutely. And that was my concern when I'd finished the manuscript and sent it in, and I called up the publishers a month later, and that was on my mind, and said, I don't want to release this book. I don't want this book to come out. And then they talked me off the ledge, and but the book to me, and I really, I sent it to my wife's, one of her best friends, who is also a writer, and said, oh, I want you to have Barbara's back and read this and tell me if I've heard her writing this.
Okay, so you have that concern, because with you, it's like you've lived through it and you've done all this stuff and you know everything. And I'm sure your wife probably knew a lot of the stuff that's in the book.
She knows everything that's in the book, and we've hit it head on. It wasn't. I didn't feel like I had a get out of jail free card. It's almost destroyed our relationship a couple of times. But she's not some meek woman that sweeps it under the carpet and looks the other way. She is a tough woman, and she's hit it head on, and we're close to divorce a couple of times, but in the end, after therapy and looking at our family life and how much we love each other, we decided that we're better together than we are apart. So we've dealt with this. She doesn't want to read the book because she said, I've already lived it, but it is my absolute major concern that she be viewed as person she is, which is the best person I've ever met.
Well, I mean, it shows that you have some kind of feelings, you have that emotion about your wife, obviously. And you mentioned therapy and you're doing therapy. Is this something where you go on a consistent basis, like a lot? I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but are you popping pills as part of the depression and part of dealing with everything? And I mean, I'm talking about, legal medications that you use to stabilize.
I have been on Prozac, on and off Prozac, and occasionally, when the dark Mr. D, I see my depression. I actually put him in the third person.
Yeah, he's got a name, right?
Yeah. When he gets too in my face, I'll occasionally go on Prozac, but most of it is meditation and being grateful for what I have and my family and staying connected and none of this ever goes away, but you understand what the downside, and you weigh the benefits of being true.
It's such a look at, we know your body of work, talking to Rick Springfield, the book Late at Night, we know your body of work, and now it's kind of like to pull that curtain back, to look behind and see the person that's there, and being so open about it with the book. The book seems amazing, and I appreciate you jumping on with us this morning and talking about it. I know there's so much more ground that we could cover. And
we're doing a book signing on Borders on Wednesday. It is at 12:30. It's on State Street at Borders.
Okay, you're going to be downtown at the Borders. Beautiful. You know what? We'll put that up on the website, and I'll make sure I mention it.
Thank you so much.
Rick Springfield on the Star Morning Show, and details of that book signing up, star105.com, keyword Joe.